Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we are taking a look at something very festive for the holiday season, and that is Super Skill Pinball's Holiday Special Edition. So I have covered Super Skill Pinball on the channel in the past. There's nothing, new or different about how the rules work for this one. This one just simply highlights three of my all-time favorite holiday movies. So this was kind of like a no-brainer for me. This is really a solo game. You can play multiplayer. They give you enough boards that you could all, up to 4 people, could play the same table at the same time. But similar to the actual physical game of pinball, it's really just kind of you playing your own game and trying to get a high score. There can be a lot of downtime if you're sitting there waiting, to not start your next ball until the other person finishes. Ideally, this is really just a kind of a filler game or a solo game. So let's take a look at the tables, and I'll just give you a brief overview of how the game works here. So we've got some other stuff from the company here, WizKids. They do a lot more than this. It's an interesting selection of choices there, but anyways, there we go. All right, so here is, the rule book. Here you can see that here's like a 4-player setup. They use the backside of, one table. The backside will be, one of the other 4 tables on these boards. So you've got Elf, Christmas Vacation, and A Christmas Story. Honestly, if they had put Home Alone in here, there was 4 tables in the original. If they had put Home Alone in here, this would have been an absolutely perfect box. So, essentially you're just rolling your dice, 2 dice every time, and then you have to choose one of those die to use to move your, it's like a flattened kind of ball shape down the pinball table. So, these are in cellophane. Okay. So we'll open these up here in a second, but the game provides you with dry erase markers. That's how you're going to mark on the board, mark your score. So you just erase them at the end. And then there is a set of dice here, red and green for the festive holidays. Again, there's just one set of dice. So if you're playing multiplayer, you're all utilizing the same number as other people, but you're just gonna have to sit and wait for someone if they continue their ball and you have bumped out. But here there are plenty of, these are the balls. Again, they're just kind of like half spheres that you slide around real nicely on these dry erase boards. There's more than 4 in here because you could have multi-ball. So more than likely, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so I'm guessing there's no more than a 2-ball multi-ball in any of these, or else you would need more if you were playing with 4 people. And that's it. So very straightforward, very simple. This isn't going to break your budget. Let's get the wrap off these and take a look at the boards. Okay, so here we have the Elf board. I'll show off all of these here, but I'm just going to kind of use the Elf board as an example for how you would go about doing the game. So you're always going to kind of plunge. This one actually says there's only 2 rounds in any of these. Anyways, you'll plunge the ball up here and it will come down. And at this point, this is when you would roll your dice. So let's actually roll our dice out here just to give you a taste. All right, so you roll your dice. You probably wouldn't want to do it on the board, but you roll your dice, and then you have to choose one of these 2 numbers. If you're playing multiplayer, everybody chooses 1, but they don't all have to be the same number. In this instance, you would say, I want to choose the 2. So you would say, all right, I'm going to bounce around in these, upper lanes up here. So I'm going to mark off this 2, and then that 2 cannot be used again to keep your ball up here until you have either cleared these all out and are told you can erase them, or your ball drains and then you get to do a new ball. So after you would mark this off, you would then kind of move your ball right here. Say, all right, it's coming down that lane right there. And here we have 2 2s. So usually when you roll doubles like this, some things happen. The tables are all going to have slightly different rules for stuff like that. But in this case, obviously you can't stay up here because you already marked off the 2. So thematically, you're going to come down here and you're going to say, okay, well, I am entering into the pop bumpers here, and so I'll mark off one of these 2s. Okay, and I put my ball right here. It's bouncing around right here. If thematically, if I had rolled like a 3, I could have said, oh, it's going to bounce back up here, bounced directly back up and went back through, which does happen. Then you just roll the dice again. All right, I've got a 4 and a 1. Okay, well, I have to leave this area, but I could bounce down around here, so I'll cross off a 4. Roll again. The game moves very quickly. At this point, I'm kind of stuck. I can't advance. I have to follow this circle, so I'm stuck, or I can't stay in the pop bumpers. At this point here, I could choose to fall down on either side. So let's just say I am wanting to shoot up here next. So I'm going to hope the ball comes down here. So I'll say the 3. I'll mark off the 3, and then I'll roll again. All right, at this point, the ball does have to fall. So you're then going to choose, which of these lanes do you want to mark through. Obviously, you don't want to mark through the 6 because that would drain your ball. So you're going to mark through the 5 here. That's going to put your ball right here. And then, hopefully, at this point, you're wanting to shoot. Now, the yellow flipper can shoot onto this bank here, or it can shoot up into here. This looks like something where you probably have to do it in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to score huge points. I could be wrong. I have not reviewed the specific rules for this game yet, but that's essentially how it works. Is depending on what flipper you are, you can aim for yellow objects from this flipper and red objects from this flipper. So this flipper could send you here, could send you up here, could send you into the pop bumpers. All right, for the red flipper, you could also go into the pop bumpers, you could go to the naughty targets, or you could go up this loop, which takes you back up here. You cannot hit this ramp from this flipper. A skilled flipper, a skilled real pinball player probably could, but in this game, you can't. So it does matter which side here, when you fall out of the pop bumpers, do you fall to, And that's basically it. That's the game. You're going to try and keep your ball out on the table as long as possible. There's a lot of luck involved in the game because you're rolling the dice. You could just have bad rolls and, be stuck with double 6s and have to drain. And that's pinball. That's how it happens. You would clear off certain parts of the board. Certain parts of the board are going to stay, drop targets may stay down, things like that. But you'll reset your ball and you'll go again until this one says there's 2 rounds. Normal pinball game has 3. I can't remember if the previous ones had 2 or 3 rounds, but over here is where you're gonna score. Keep track of your score. You can just simply mark through these lines. If you hit 100, 200, 300, you would erase back up. Nudging also allows you to adjust your die up or down one number, but you only have 3 of them. Skill shots here, again, these are going to be table specific rules. That's a very brief overview of the game if you are not familiar with it. So let's just take a look at the other tables here. Here is A Christmas Story. So obviously it's all about getting the air rifle here and getting an air rifle bonus. This one has this, technically you should position this one more like this. So there you go. You can see it. This one actually has where you could go up into the back glass, which a few games had. So there you go. You can actually shoot it up here, and pop bumpers are way up here. Let's move this back down so we can get this all on camera. So you got bunny suit drop targets, decoder rings, the bully targets here, dare, this one looks a little bit more complicated than Elf, but maybe that's okay. I've never found that once I read the rules, everything makes perfect sense. And at the end of the day, pinball is all about keeping your ball up on the table as long as possible. Same thing goes for this game. It's rolling and hoping that you can keep the ball up there as long as possible. And then last but not least is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This is probably the one I am most excited about. Out of these 3, this is probably my favorite, although I love them all. So obviously it's all about getting all your lights checked off for. There is sewer gas explosion, 3 ways to get that. There's squirrel here, and the pop bumpers doubles the advance the Christmas bonus. up to Jelly of the Month Club, nice dinner, trip to Wally World, and swimming pool. The boss, a couple drop targets up here, lights with pop bumpers. So yeah, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, it's a very simple, very straightforward game, but is an excellent solo game. These appear to be right in line with the movies and hopefully are going to provide just some nice kind of filler fun for you or up to 4 people. So that's going to do it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.